Welcome back to a very special edition of The Five live from Hofstra University. Thanks to the Pep Band for joining us for this hour. We're just over 3 hours away from the highly anticipated Trump versus Clinton showdown. Joining us now with a preview of tonight's epic face-off is our good friend, Megyn Kelly. Megyn is hosting a special post-debate edition of the Kelly File tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern. Now, Megyn, I'm sure a lot of people have asked you, if you were the moderator tonight, what would be the first question you would ask? I would like to know, given the fact that we may have 100 million people watching tonight, what would be the last question you leave the viewers with?
Well, first of all, how'd you get a band in a pep band?
It's a five. They follow us around.
I think Brett and I are irritated already. Why don't we have that?
Well, we can probably arrange that.
I want that on the Kelly File. Listen, I would say that there's nothing off limits. There's nothing off limits. I mean, these two want the highest office in the land, so there's a way. I like them so much.
Bring it with you tonight.
I think if you use the right sort of decorum in the asking, you can ask almost anything. It's how they handle it, right? I mean, like, no matter how offensive the question is, they have to handle themselves with poise. I mean, I think you could go to the Bill Clinton place with her, right, the past, and she's been so critical of Trump on this issue, and say, this is what they say about you. I don't think that's off limits, but you have to handle it gently and professionally, and then see how the candidates do.
All right, we'll bring it around. Dan, do you have a question?
Well, I do. You know, when I left the apartment today, Peter said, take a moment and appreciate the historic nature of what you're going to get to do. Like, being a part of these presidential debates is a really big deal. 4 years ago, when you were there with President Obama, he was the incumbent president, the first African-American, and we do have the first woman nominee for one of our major parties. And so I just wonder if you, when you're there in the room, because you were there in 2012, like, how important are those historical moments for you to just sort of absorb before you have to commentate?
Those are my favorite nights. I mean, these are by far my favorite nights. It's so exciting, especially these nights are the best, even better than when we're moderating, because I don't have to do any of the work, right? It's like, yeah, I get to sit there almost like a spectator and take it all in, and you truly have a front row seat for history. But tonight is going to be especially dynamic because these two personalities are so diverse. I mean, I was reading something today that said she's this policy wonk who will bone up on everything there is to know, and, you know, you name it, Syria and so on, and he could reference the size of his manhood again. I mean, like, they could not be any more different than they are. And that's part of the, you know, what makes it so dynamic. Anything could happen, and probably will.
In the likelihood of 100 million viewer audience, KG has a question.
So I was just thinking, what would your advice be to Lester Holt, since you did the debate before and you had that powerful first question? What's kind of going through his mind at this point in the press, because it's going to be such a big event?
Well, I think he's right that he doesn't need to be the mother of all fact checkers, right? I do think that's her job. And I think her campaign took some risks this weekend in borderline sounding a little weak, you know, and like, he better get up there, it's like, all right, you want to be commander-in-chief. Like, I'm sure you can handle Donald Trump and a few stretches of the truth, Mrs. Clinton, right? You don't need Lester to save you.
Right.
However, as a moderator, you do have somewhat of a duty to say, all right, you were against the Iraq War, but you did tell Howard Stern in 2000, right? You can do, if it's like 10 seconds or less, I think you can get in and get out. If it's a clear, you know, lie, right? Other than that, I wouldn't touch it. Because look what happened to Katie Crowley. Right? I think my own personal view on her was she made those comments in earnest. She wasn't trying to mislead on Benghazi. She was trying to move them along because they had gotten bogged down in the conversation too long. And in a good faith effort, I think, to just wrap it up, she said something that wasn't right. Mitt Romney got scared, I think, that she had it right and he had it wrong. It changed the course of the election.
You know, she was probably wrong for doing, but Mitt wasn't ready. He wasn't ready to combat that and say,
no. As a moderator, you're under enough pressure, right? I mean, poor Lester. He's the one I feel the worst for. I mean, it's a privilege, right? But still, like, he's got to be so nervous out there. It's a lose-lose situation for him. So if I were Lester, I would ask the tough questions, be fair to both sides, and then get the hell out of there.
Right, Greg?
Stay out of it.
Yeah, well, you are really the expert in the first question.
Yeah.
So, what suggestion would you give Lester Holt? What should be his first question to Donald Trump? And should it be about your first question?
I do think the first question, especially at a debate, should be bare-knuckled.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think that's when they're most off-kilter, right? They're nervous. They're only human.
Yeah.
But we're journalists.
Not Hillary.
We're
that might be a robot.
So we don't care. We're just mean. But that's when you want to ask them the tough questions, because Dana could tell us more about this, but I understand when, you know, you're in the White House, it's stressful. and they need to know how to function under pressure. So why not put a little pressure on them and see how they can do the dance? I mean, there's so much fodder for both of these guys. And part of the drama with her will be, how does her health hold up through the course of it? She said she's suffering from pneumonia. Is she over that? Is she going to have to give us a disclaimer about I might be coughing? She must be nervous if that's the case, because she knows that half the country's been told she's dying. Yes. Right? So it's like one cough is going to lead to conspiracy theories.
90 minutes, no coughs.
I don't know if I could do that.
It's going to be rough. Can I go from one former moderator to another one?
Sure. So, obviously, when you asked that first question, it was about women. Do you think that topic comes up today already? The Clinton campaign's running ads that show language that Donald Trump has used in talking about women, defamatory type of language. Yeah. Does that come back tonight?
That'll be interesting, because it's almost like let's see if she can put her money where her mouth is, because or really her mouth where her money is, because she's rolling out all these campaigns to hit him on that issue. Does she have the guts to say that right to him? Does she have the guts to look him right in the eye and say, these are the things you've said? Now explain them. Now I'm here to hold you accountable for all those little girls I put in my ad. Yeah. Or will she let the ad do the talking? I mean, either way, it's a strategic move for her. But, I mean, listen, if you took any time to study Donald Trump back in August 2015, you would have seen that he had made controversial comments about women.
Oh, without a
right?
doubt. No
so
question.
It's like, back then I was just trying to tee up what would likely be an issue for him. And sure enough, it's become a big issue for him. But what does she have the nerve to do when he's standing right there? You know, Donald Trump, who is an infamously strong counterpuncher.
And is there a line that she shouldn't cross? Right, because...
Especially on gender. Right? Right? Because it's like, you don't want to be up there like, I'm a woman, and so my only issue is about women. Right? She might be better. One of her guests is going to be the mother of a disabled child. Right. And that is supposedly a friendship that was born after he insulted Serge Kovaleski of the New York Times, or the friendship blossomed then. In any event, we'll see.
What about your special tonight?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that one second, but they're wrapping us. I want to show you one thing first. You guys ready? It's the five. Thank you to Megyn. Be sure to watch a special edition of the Kelly File live, 11 p.m. Eastern tonight, for post-debate analysis.